All right, hello, and welcome to Wine and Reason. First things first, uh, my ampersand is gone. If you saw this on YouTube, they took my ligature away. A ligature is in English is where two letters were formed together to make a symbol, but it's in this case it's et. Hey, Santi, the same. So the ligature for ET, which is and, not extraterrestrial, but and in Latin, is the ampersand. And for some reason, uh, YouTube was not cool with that. So I had to type out and, which made me sad. So yeah, I'm glad a couple of folks are here. Hopefully we'll see some more soon. Love everybody in the chat. So let's see. My governor is a fuckwit. Santi, you live in Florida, so I think you can identify with this. Um, so I know Junk Shop and I just did a whole thing about this, but we went to the store today, and today is April 28th. For those of you watching this in the future, it's April 28th, and we went to the store and we did this massive grocery shop. Like we bought more than what was on the list, and initially I didn't realize why I was doing that. um I was just sort of saying yes to everything and putting more things in the basket than normal. Angie, thank you for showing up, darling. Good to see you. So we do this massive grocery shopping today, and we get home, we put all the groceries away, we wash our hands, we wash our masks, we throw away the gloves we were wearing. And I realized at some point after that the reason we did this massive grocery shopping today is because in a couple of days, just a few days, our Governor Lee, he's an idiot, is reopening our state. He wants to reopen the businesses, says it will be gradually. So this is absolutely horrible. And our mayor of our fine city, Mayor Strickland, uh, is going to wait a whole 4 days later than Governor Lee to open up the city of Memphis. And one of my sister-in-laws, not calling anyone out or anything, she's a lovely human being. It comes from a good place, but she's like, "Hey, let's get together in 2 weeks. We haven't had a family get together in forever." No, no, ma'am, no, we're not going. Junk Shop and I just bought a lot of groceries, and we'll be hunkering our happy asses down in our apartment. Love y'all. There are other ways we can communicate, but no, we're not going. So my mom calls today to tell me about this proposed gathering, which may or may not happen. Nothing's been decided yet. And I told her, no, no, love you, but no, we're not going. And she said, well, what if it's over by then? And I said, oh, the pandemic? I don't think so, Mom. I don't think it's going to be over. Last I heard, and this is at least 2 days ago, the United States has lost 55,000 people, 55,000 deaths. And we're also starting to learn, as people do recover from COVID-19, we're learning that this disease has a lot of comorbidities that we didn't know about. You can have pulmonary or respiratory scarring and problems that could last you months, years, or the rest of your life. People have gone into kidney failure and had to be on dialysis. People who survived, there is, I heard on a podcast earlier today, and I apologize for not citing a better source than I heard it on a podcast, but it was from actually it was on the Thinking Atheist podcast, and a doctor in LA shared this information, Dr. Shapiro, and she said that a gentleman, an actor in Hollywood, had a secondary infection as a result of having COVID-19 and had to have his leg amputated. I don't know who the actor is. Don't get all excited. I don't have that kind of, nifty news on my channel. But hey, Stunner and Chris, good to see you, man. So it's incredibly disturbing to me that they're going to open my state back up. Our restrictions were not that harsh to begin with. It's nothing like what they have in the UK. It's nothing like what they have in New York and Los Angeles, where people are required to wear masks when they go out. Um, and I do actually urge everybody, if you haven't listened to the Thinking Atheist podcast that went on earlier today, he also had one with No Illusions today, which is amazing. But earlier today, he had one with Dr. Shapiro, and I urge all of you to check that out. It's awesome. She gives really good cogent information. She's a doctor. She's in the field. You're going to notice at one point that she says tummies, and it's because her main thing is pediatrics. So you can tell she's using that pediatric language. But yeah, there's some really good. I bet it was Tom Hanks saying, "Oh God, I hope not. I hope not. I love Tom Hanks. I mean, I don't want that to happen to anyone, but okay. Anyway, so yeah, there's a lot of, we're just beginning to see get below the surface of this iceberg of how this disease virus acts, how it works, and what it can do. And comorbidity is a big freaking deal. And a lot of us, frankly, aren't old enough to remember a lot of diseases that come with really scary comorbidities. I was part of a weird generation where there in the early 80s there was a resurgence of rheumatic fever in the United States, and it took me forever to get diagnosed with it. I'd had scarlet fever when I was younger. I'd had strep throat several times. These are all caused by the Streptococcus bacteria, right? Just takes antibiotics to kill it. But my immune system had gotten to a point over the years where the antibiotics I was prescribed were not working against the Streptococcus bacteria, which is why it caused rheumatic fever. Now, rheumatic fever is incredibly painful. It inflames all of your joints, and also it can cause heart damage. Now, I'm incredibly lucky I did not suffer any heart damage. But that is a common comorbidity. I actually knew a man who went to our church in the town where I grew up in Kentucky, who passed away in his early 50s from heart disease because he'd had rheumatic fever as a child. So I was very lucky, and that's really all I can say is it was just luck. It was just absolute luck, and because neither of my doctors, and these were good pediatricians, these were excellent pediatricians, they'd never seen a case of rheumatic fever before because we thought that was a disease that we'd gotten rid of. And it just had this weird resurgence in the 80s, and I happened to be one of the kids who got it. So to this day, though, having said that, I got that when I was 12. I had scarlet fever when I was 2. I have no memories of that, although apparently it was really bad. And at one point, my dad couldn't detect my heartbeat and literally saved my life getting me to the emergency room. But, what was my point with that? Oh, my point is that the medicine, even to this day, like if I think I'm getting strep throat, I have to go get a throat swab and I have to get tested for strep throat, because the thing about that bacteria, unlike some viruses, not COVID-19, because again, it's in the corona family of viruses. It's a new virus, right? That's why they're calling it the novel corona virus, right? But it's in a family of viruses that already exist, and it could mutate, and we could end up with strains of it just like we have of the flu. So every year, like when you get your flu shot, they put in, the vaccines for the flus they think are going to hit and that they're pretty sure are going to hit. Sometimes you get your flu shot and you still get the flu. It's not because the flu shot gave you the flu. It's because you caught a strain of it that was not in the vaccine that year. And that happened. So hopefully sometime next year in 2021, hopefully we will have a vaccine for COVID-19. So the comorbidities are definitely scary, and I tried to point out with telling you a little bit about my medical history, like how that can affect you. Like, again, to this day, I have to make sure I don't get strep throat because um, streptococcus is a bacteria, and it's not, it's not like you develop antibodies or any kind of immunity. I can always get rheumatic fever again, and I got off once with no heart damage. I'm not willing to risk twice, right? Okay, so excuse me. He can do pirate movies. He'll be fine. Oh my gosh. Tom Hanks is a national treasure, Santi. And so is his wife, Rita Wilson. They're amazing. Okay. So I wanted to show you guys something. Let's see. Oh, yeah. So family gathering. I've got my notes. Family gathering in 2 weeks. Yeah, no. Governor Lee, May 1st. Mayor Strickland, May 5th. My thought is this is going to lead to an exponential growth in cases and therefore in deaths and also in comorbidities. So and then they're just going to end up having to shut things down again, just like they did before. And this is kind of like what Junk Shop and I were saying on our video. The bottom line is going to kill us, and that's genuinely what we're worried about. I actually feel very, very oddly lucky in that I'm furloughed from my job right now. So I'm technically unemployed, but at the same time, I don't have to go back to work until July 13th. I'm really happy about that right now. I don't know that things will be significantly better in July 13th, but yes. But I'm really glad that I don't have to be back at that office and mixing with other people until then. Okay, so I wanted to show you guys this too. This is fun. So if you have a parent, and I hope you don't, but if you have a parent who has dementia or Alzheimer's, I am so sorry. It's rough. It is rough. So we have kind of a running joke just to keep us all sane among my siblings and I. We do this thing where we're like, how many birthday cards did you get from mom? How many Christmas cards? How many Easter cards? Right? And we play with my aunts too, my mom's sisters. Like, we'll call them, when we call them for Christmas, we're like, so how many Christmas cards did mom send you? And it's like 5 or 7 or whatever, because she doesn't remember. She doesn't remember that she already sent the card, right? So we only got 2 Easter cards, only 2. Very sexy white Jesus. Sexy, very white. A little disturbing, but what are you gonna do? These are very Catholic, so just throwing that out there. Don't be disturbed. So that's why you got the wounds. You gotta have the wounds because Catholic, and you gotta feel guilty about it, all of it, because it's our fault. He died and suffered for us. All right. So the weird thing about this card, it's very sweet, and I'm not trying to say anything bad about my mother. It's very kind of her, and this is absolutely her culture and where she comes from, and it's very kind of her to send these. But so it says, you will be remembered in special Easter novena of masses offered by the Trinitarians at Holy Trinity Monastery in Baltimore, Maryland. So y'all, there are monks saying novenas, which is a lot of prayers over a lot of consecutive days for the state of my soul. Kind of fun. And also, they may or may not be, because she's been donating to these monks for so long that we don't know if this still applies. So that's kind of fun too. So that sexy, fair-headed Jesus, who's got kind of fair hair there. He's definitely European-inspired Jesus. Does not look like a Middle Eastern Jew Jesus, which is wrong. This guy, darker hair, a little better, but still pretty fucking white. And yeah, all the wounds are there. This one has the wounds through the hands, which we know is not how people were crucified, but what are you going to do? And again, the same Trinitarians at Holy Trinity Monastery in Baltimore, Maryland, will be praying for our souls. So that's nice. And there's a Bible verse in here. I came so that they might have life and have it more abundantly. That's John 10:10. I studied the Gospel of John when I was in grad school, and it was fun. We were basically looking at the Yonine in Eastern Orthodox, like Russian religion, and how it affected the penal system there, and versus the Pauline Western religion and how it affects our penal system here. So the Pauline, there's more emphasis on punishment. In the Yonine, or Donine, Yonine, there it's more emphasis on when you sin, you separate yourself from God, and therefore you separate yourself from other people as well. So you sin Russia, you go to Siberia, you sin here, you're punished in jail, right? It's an interesting dichotomy, and I had a lot of fun with that class. Thank you, Professor Nickel. All right, hey, Tony Designs is here. Cool. All right, so that's white Jesus is hot. Yeah, agreed. Yeah, very sexy Jesus. And if you want to see a really hot Jesus, follow the Apostate Prophet on Instagram, because they posted a really hot. It's Jesus and John the Baptist and some of the apostles, and it is not safe for work nor children, but I enjoyed it very much. Just saying. So just imagine a good old-fashioned baptism with more cock. Okay, so oddity. So we got Tony, we got Angie, we've got Junk Shop, we got Santi, we got Stuttering Chris. So we're getting tummies, yeah. So we're getting to the AMA section of this very random and very impromptu live stream. Basically, I got back from the store and realized I was having an anxiety attack, and kind of wanted to talk to y'all about this because, Angie, I know you're super worried about COVID, because I've watched your video where you are. You got all of these relief workers and these great people coming in to help with a tornado situation. Hey, Amiga Nuts. But as you put it, none of them are wearing PPE, and you're worried. You're worried because they're coming into your little community, and it's like y'all need the help, but at the same time, everybody needs to still social distance. How do you social distance in the middle of a freaking natural disaster? I don't know. It's difficult. It was difficult enough at the store today. Roughly half the people were wearing masks, the other half weren't. I heard this described really well again by Dr. Shapiro. I'm basically just ruining Seth's podcast for you, and I shouldn't do that. Go listen to his podcast. But she was saying that that while the cloth masks that a lot of us are wearing, and I've got a couple of super cute ones. I should model them at some point. And Junk Shop has some really cool ones too. But the reason that we wear masks is sort of to just indicate to each other that we get it, we're taking it seriously, and we're practicing social distancing. And that I got a lot of that at the store. Like, people wearing masks, they were the ones who kept their different distance. They were the ones trying to stay 6 feet away, and that was great. The people who weren't didn't seem to really give much of a fuck, so that was scary. Oh, great librarian Hyatt. Yes, he is lovely. I mean, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. They're lovely. Okay. Working on a pronoun shift. I'm working on it. All right. So what do you guys want to know? Is there anything, what's it like where you are? Do you want to know about what it's like here? What's going on? Ask me stuff. I will say that on Thursday, on our couple stream on this channel, Junk Shop and I will do a deconstruction and analysis of the Yellow Wallpaper. Oh my gosh, and I have forgotten the author's name. Shame on me. I only taught English for a university for 14 years, and I love this story. Charlotte Perkins Gilman, Gilman, and you can find this story for free online, and it's a great short story, The Yellow Wallpaper by Charlotte Perkins Gilman. If you want to find it and read it beforehand, before Thursday, and then tune in at 8:30 U.S. Central Time, we'll be talking about that. It's going to be really interesting because this is a very feminist short story for me. It's set in the 19th century, and it was written at that time. Has to do with practices for women diagnosed with hysteria, right? And we're gonna have so much fun with it. So I'm definitely taking a feminist stance. Junk shop maybe also, and I'll also be looking at it through the new historicist lens. Which, if you don't know what that is in literary criticism, please don't get bored. It's not boring, I promise. It just means that we take into account the time in which something was written and the mores of that time. You know, we don't expect people writing in the 19th century to be woke, for lack of a better term, the way we think of things now. But it actually, with this story, it makes it even better, because how anyone could think this was a good idea is beyond me. So check out The Yellow Wallpaper. And also we're going to be getting the input from someone who identifies as non-binary gender-wise. So that's going to be a really fun gender look at this particular short story, because this short story is all about gender, and it should be amazing. Okay, so let's see. Stuttering Chris has seen people smoking in public and they're overweight. It's mind-boggling. Was it me? Did you catch me smoking? Because I'm overweight and I smoke in public. Well, I'm generally not out these days, so I don't smoke in public, but only. No, you're right. During a pandemic that attacks the lungs first and then causes all of these comorbidities, this is more fucking stupid than usual. So don't do this. By the way, if you've noticed that I'm wearing a clada, or an Irish wedding band, that is a placeholder, because while I was washing my hands via COVID-19 standards, my wedding band slipped off and went right down the fucking sink. So it's there in the U-bin somewhere. That happened 3 weeks ago. So I don't want it back now, because at this point, other stuff has gone in there. So it's fine. It was an inexpensive ring. I ordered a replacement, which I'll get from Amazon next week. Angie Smith says, yeah. I love you, Chris, but I'm sorry. My girl's got my back here. Yeah, seriously. Me too. I don't care. My body, my future cancer. That's my thought. Sandy says, I don't smoke in public. And okay, yes, I agree. I don't smoke in public where it will affect anyone else. Like I don't smoke near children. I don't smoke near entrances. I'm very careful about that. But where I live in the South before COVID-19, in the before time, we had, we've got a lot of restaurants. You can't smoke inside any restaurants anywhere anymore, which I think is fine. But a lot of them have patios, and we have really nice weather for a lot of the year. So you can go out on the patio, you can get a meal, you can get a drink, and you can have a smoke, and nobody on the patio is going to say boo about it, because the patio is where the smokers go, right? So, excuse me. Sorry. So that's what we do. Yeah. Let's see. What else do we got? Angie, hang on. I get hysterical when you get that feeling. Better start believing. Yeah. No, I know what you mean. Yeah, the 19th century, and I'm going to have to look this up again. I'm going to have to look up the exact definition, like how they defined it in the 19th century. But this is back when, like, the first vibrator was invented. Quite literally. The first vibrator was invented to treat hysteria in women. because doctors were masturbating women to bring them to orgasm to cure their hysteria, whatever the fuck that meant. It was like such a broad thing. It could be anything. Like basically, my wife's in a bad mood, fix her. And yeah, so they would do that. And it's weird. It's weird. It's a weird time in our history that it happened. So, all right. I don't smoke tobacco. No. Santi says I do, and I don't agree. It's bad. It's a bad thing to do. Santi does not smoke tobacco. Good for you, man. Good for you. No, says stuttering Chris. Sorry, buddy. I'll hide that. Okay. No, that's fine. No, absolutely. If I lived, okay, if my partner was not terribly allergic, and Junk Shop is horrifically allergic to marijuana, and if I lived in a state where it was legal, I would absolutely smoke weed. I get chronic migraines. I have joint pain and some other things that, honestly, like weed's great for that. It's really great, and I don't like pain pills. I won't take them. Like I won't take opioids because I'm afraid of becoming addicted to them. So I don't take them. I have enough medicine that I have to take. Yeah. So I would absolutely, like, if I was in a state where it was legal and I could get it legally dispensed, I would absolutely buy some edibles and mark, skull and crossbones, don't eat this Junk Shop, and stick those in the fridge. And that would be my, woke up with a migraine. Okay, great. I've got a brownie. It's going to be okay. Def Leppard song. Which Def Leppard song, Angie? Oh, wait. I feel like I should know this. I liked Def Leppard a lot. I don't know. I lost track of the chat somewhere. Okay, so Sandy asked, what's it like here? Again, it's about 50-50. I went to the gas station yesterday, which is literally across the street from my apartment. So I just walked across the street. I was wearing a mask. I walked across the street to get a carton of cigarettes. Yep, they're bad for you. Don't smoke them. It's my body. I can do what I want with it. I don't have kids. I don't have pets. Not hurting anyone except for fish. And they're fine. They're in their own environments. So anyway, I walk across the street to get cigarettes, and I am the only person at the gas station wearing a mask. And that was a little disturbing. Now, of course, the cashier is protected because they're in their little box with the glass and everything, and that's good. But yeah, it's very, it disturbed me, and people were not practicing proper social distancing. Santi says, I can't wait for legalization. Yeah, me too. On the federal level, absolutely. And actually, as allergic as he is and as difficult as this could make his life, I know I'm not speaking for him. He has flat out said this publicly, and he's said it to me many times. Junk Shop absolutely agrees, largely because of the way it's enforced in this country. There is a lot of racism tied into who goes down for marijuana and who doesn't. You could very easily argue that it's been legal for white people for a very long time. But, God help you if you're brown or black and you get caught with weed on you. So yeah, that's the disparity in our legal system is unjust and wrong and racist. And we need to get rid of that. And we need to let those people out of prison. Yeah. So I agree. Yeah. Let's legalize it. And legalize it, tax the shit out of it, and put that money in education. And boom, 2 birds, 1 stone, right? We got fewer overcrowded prisons. And we might actually have a decent education budget for once, since they don't seem to want to fund that. Since an informed electorate is apparently not something we want. Saw a scary statistic about my neck of the woods that said that most people in my city read at a 6th grade level or below. And right now recently they were having to homeschool their children. And a lot of folks are struggling. They were genuinely struggling. I mean, how do you teach reading comprehension to your 14-year-old when you struggle with reading comprehension? Right? I mean, teachers are, we go to school for a long time to be able to do that. We learn a lot. And I mean, to this day, I learn a new thing and I go, oh gosh, I taught the wrong thing to a whole class once. And I can't tell you how many times that's happened. So yeah, bad information is problematic. And even if they give you the curriculum and give you the tools, you may or may not know how to use them. And that is nothing against any hardworking parents out there trying to deal with this on the fly suddenly, just having this dropped in their laps. It's hard. Like, people in my family have chosen to homeschool and tried to have some idea of what they were getting into. And still, there were some late night tearful phone calls, where they were like, am I failing my kid? Like not failing by giving them an F, but like, am I failing them by not being a good enough teacher? And it's like, well, yeah, nah. So it's all very, it's rough. Too dark for privilege, too light to be a Vado? What's a Vado? Is that a typo? I'm confused. Or Santa, you mean you specifically? Too dark for privilege, but not quite light enough. I feel like I just said something really bad. The white guilt alarm just went off in my head. I'm gonna have really big eyes until Santi replies to me. Oh my god. All right. So I'd mentioned Yellow Wallpaper, showed you the creepy Easter cards, which I know Santi wasn't disturbed by, except for how like pale Jesus was in them, but yeah. Religiously, Santi and I have similar backgrounds, so yeah. Okay, so guys. Oh, Santi's not explaining what he meant. Oh, fuck. Okay, sir, if I hurt your feelings, I'm very sorry. That was not my intention at all. I'm so sorry if I said something wrong. I did not mean to. That was specific to you. Okay. Okay, thank you. And also sorry. Yeah. I don't get it. I mean, I do. I try to get it. Yeah. All right. I'm gonna stop there before I say something more fucked up than I already have. Okay. In Argentina, we have white Jesus too. Oh, I'm so sorry. That's really fucked up. Like, didn't have to deal with white Jesus in Argentina. I gotta say though, I've had friends, one in particular who, there was a rather sexy Jesus picture. It was one of the laughing Jesus pictures. You don't see those often, and she really liked it. She was never raised Christian. She liked it because she was like, oh, it made me feel better about Jesus. Made Christians less scary. So, sexy Jesus. In Jesus Christ Superstar, I always found Judas more sexy though. Couldn't help it. I did not say anything wrong. Thank you, Santi. Okay, good. Sorry. No, not sorry, because I didn't say anything wrong. Santi said I didn't say anything wrong, so I don't have to apologize. Working on that. Apologizing for no good reason. Okay, so Amiga Nuts has a thing. Hang on. Let's see what this is. Wait, do people who suffer albinism get a free weep? They are the only white people that I know of. That's funny. I like it. Sadly, no. Not in my state. Maybe in California they do. Oh, okay. This makes the white Jesus make a little more sense. Yeah. Most people from Argentina are Caucasian looking. But that does make sense. Yeah. Yeah, it is funny how each culture remakes God in its own image, right? So, like, I'm a child of God, made in the image of God, who looks just like me. Wait, there are other people. Which is why I love it whenever I see a black Jesus. That's awesome. That is fun. Okay. Well, now that I've bothered you all for 36 minutes with smoking and stuff, got embarrassed for no good reason, had to be reassured. Thank you so much for that. Um oh, this is good. Hang on. So Tony Design says, I remade God in my image, but people just laughed at him too. Yeah. Fair. My favorite is Korean Jesus. There's a Japanese. I haven't seen Korean Jesus. I need to look that up. That sounds amazing. I saw a Japanese Jesus once, like baptizing someone in a river, and it's this, old style, really cool Japanese art. And I was like, all right, Japanese Jesus. That's fascinating. Um, so yeah, fun with that. Yeah, my cigarette went out because I smoke American Spirits, which are just tobacco, no additives. Not that it matters; it will still give you cancer. There's no such thing as a safe cigarette. But there you go. All right, all right. So everybody doing okay? Everybody's loved ones okay? I at least know one person personally. One person personally? That's terrible phrasing. I at least know one person who has this virus and another person who is by declension. That's the wrong word, but uh, someone associated with that person who is in the hospital with it. And for the hospitalized person, things are not looking good. Um, so just fingers crossed at this point. If this is hitting you, where you live, I am so sorry. Hopefully, otherwise, you're able to stay home and be safe. For those of you with kids, I can't even imagine how hard this is right now. Santi, Angie, everybody with kids, like I can't even imagine how difficult it is keeping kids entertained and at home just as summer vacation is starting, and depending on how young they are, this is a difficult thing to explain. You know, so all those, why can't we go to the park? Why aren't we going to visit grandma? Why can't I go to my friend's house or whatever? All those questions. I don't know how you're answering them right now, but I respect the hell out of all of you for doing it. All right. Any other questions before I sign off? I know there's some lag, so I'll give it a second. Dun, 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 dun. Anything anybody want to shill? That's fine. If you want to drop a link in the chat and shill something, you can. I don't know. Well, I don't know how to make people moderators. I got to learn how to do that. But I'm not big enough to have any trolls yet, so I haven't had a problem. But I'll have to find out. But yeah, I can say that yeah, tomorrow morning, really early at well, for me, really early. Very small town, only 80 people got it here. Okay, good. Good. I'm glad, Santi. I hope it stays that way. That only 80 people got. I mean, I'm sorry that they got it, but I hope it stays that number. Yeah, my county in my state has the most cases and the most deaths so far. Now, part of that is population. Tennessee is a big state, and we don't have a lot. Memphis and Nashville, those are the cities you've heard of, and it's for a reason, and we're not in the same counties. So yeah. But it is scary. And I think I've told you all before that one of my nieces just started working as a nurse. She just graduated from nursing school, and the hospital where she works has a COVID-19 dedicated floor. Now, she's not working on that floor as of now, but it's tricky. So, yeah, you had Troll and Junk Shop stream today. I sadly missed that. I was taking a nap. I've been a little down this week. I miss working. I miss working from home. Because before I got furloughed, like I was working in the office, then they sent us all home with our stuff to work from home, and I loved that. That was amazing. Like no 90-minute commute, hell yeah, sign me up. And I loved it. And then they called and were like, "Hey, you're furloughed." And this is the second week of me not working, and I don't do too well with not working. It's happened before. This is not the same as being laid off. I do have a job waiting for me when they call us back, but it's weird and it's scary, and I do tend to get it does tend to affect me. I tend to get a bit depressed. So yeah, so I'm working on that, trying to keep things upbeat, trying to move around and do stuff and clean shit, and I'm cooking a lot. It's which I like. I like cooking. I made a face there. I like cooking. I don't like cleaning the kitchen after I cook. It's like clean the kitchen. You got to clean the kitchen before and then after, because we have a very small kitchen. We don't have a dishwasher. It's a whole thing. So just to get like a meal made in our kitchen requires a lot of before and after cleaning, and that's kind of annoying, but it's fine. All right. No one else is posting, so I'm going to assume that's about it. Everybody stay safe. Stay the fuck home, please, if you can. I know that's not an option for everybody. I think Angie's, if you still want to donate to Angie Dell 66, please do. Her PayPal. I'm sorry I don't have a link here, but her PayPal is certainly attached, to her channel. Check that out. Amiga Nuts is doing his great thing in the chat that he always does. Full disclosure. I'm just going to pop that up on screen because these are all fantastic people that I love. Yeah, a bit of tea in Danish is amazing. Jen is amazing. Nervardia is amazing. I'm a patron of Nervardia, and proudly so. Angie Dell 66 is always amazing. Critical Cripple Dave is amazing. Math pick. Oh, and that reminds me. Thank you, Amiga Nuts. That reminds me. I'll be on Dave's quiz show tomorrow morning. It's 7 o'clock my time, which is 7 a.m. Central for me. So it's early, but it's well worth it, and it's very funny, and we have a good time. And yeah. No, Angie, you're fine. Don't apologize for having to step away. I have to work, says Sandy. That's okay. That's okay, man. If you can listen, that's great. If you can't, you don't have to. It's okay. No one will think less of you. I'm glad you have a job. I'm glad you can work, and I hope it's in a safe way. Oh gosh. Okay. Yeah, so Angie says they're supposed to get another storm tonight. I'm so sorry. You don't need another one. I'll just hunker down and let us know if you need anything, okay? Ugh. Yeah, 7 a.m. in the morning, Amiga Nuts. This happens. It was easier, granted, when I was working from home because I'd just come downstairs. My shift starts at 7. I'd come downstairs, boot up my work computer, and I'd catch the tail end of Friday Night Six Pack with the Aussies, and then it would go right into. Oops, sorry. I'm not used to the new fancy microphone. It would go right into critical questions with Dave right when I was, starting work, and it was great. So, yeah, the odds are in my favor. Okay, good. May they ever be, Angie. May the odds ever be in your favor. I know it's weird. I really enjoyed those films. I did. But it was also very strange because I was like, this is Battle Royale. I remember this. Like it's weird being that age where you've read an earlier incarnation of the way that a story is told. But how do you not love Katniss? Okay. All right. Well, with that, I wish you all safety and health. And see you Thursday, hopefully, for the Yellow Wallpaper. If it sounds boring, I promise it won't be. I will make it fun. And also, just remember, you can't find reason in wine, truth in wine. Damn it. One day I will get my. This is my sign off. I wrote it. One day I'll say it correctly. Let's try that again. Remember, you can't find truth in wine, but you might find it in reason. Love from Memphis, y'all. Good night.